Okay, welcome to the Referral Mastermind Call. This is an open session. We're going to be talking about the Referral Mastermind. The whole concept here is to share ideas with one another, concepts. We're smarter as a group than we are as an individual. We can see things from different angles. So we ask for people to participate and share and help one another as we're looking at this shifting market and also getting more referrals. The key to this session, of course, is getting more referrals from your past clients, your sphere of influence, your friends, your family, and how things are going in that realm. So if you have a challenge that you've had over the last week that you would like the mastermind to focus in on and help address, go ahead and bring it up. Are you having any issues getting more referrals? Do you have something that's hanging you up somewhere in that referral process? Go ahead and open up and share and tell us about it so that we can see if we can help you get past that hurdle. If you have a challenge that you would like to share with the group and have them focus on, go ahead and unmute yourself and share it with the group.
Hi, Mike.
Hello.
My name is Emily Pace. I'm a realtor in Charlottesville, Virginia with ERA Bill May Realty Company.
Awesome.
And I have so many past clients. I've been doing this for like 9 years now. And I really struggle with how to reconnect with them. And I haven't been the best at staying connected with them. So now I want to reconnect. And everything I come up with is corny or embarrassing because I haven't stayed connected or
Sure.
I don't know what to do.
That's a great question and a great challenge, Emily. Thank you for bringing that to us. It's actually something I hear often and common. So maybe that, first of all, helps to know that you're not alone. I certainly made that mistake early on. I know a lot of top agents that I've talked to have made that error. That they start, you get in there and you're hunting, right? You're hunting for business all the time and you're looking for the now business, and it's hard to stay focused on that longer term business or create a plan for it. So you're not alone in that challenge. And now you have a pool of past clients and you're trying to figure out how do you reinitiate that relationship, right? Remember, it's all about relationship. How do you restart that without it seeming a little odd and awkward? So what I'd like to do, let's do this first. Let's open it up to the group and ask them if they have any recommendations for you. If you have a recommendation for Emily about how she can reconnect with her past clients, go ahead and unmute yourself and share.
Hi, everybody. This is Heather Kay. I am in Scottsdale, Arizona. How are you?
Hey, Heather, thanks for joining us.
I sent a text message well, first of all, I went to the MLS and I pulled all of my past sales. And then I went in my CRM, I put the addresses in and went one by one and made sure that I had their closing date in, because I've got some automation that automatically send a note to them when their house anniversary. But I also texted everyone and just said, I want to let you know that I think about you when I drive by your house, which is true. And I hope that you're happy there. And I want to let you know how much I appreciate you. And I sent that out to everyone that I did business with, whether they were still in the state or not. So I don't know if that helps her at all, but it was great to get some text messages back. Not everyone replied, but it got some dialogue going with some people. Since I haven't talked to some of them, my first connect would not be to ask them anything or ask them for anything. But, I'll follow up again in a week or two.
That is fantastic, Heather. Congratulations. Way to take action. And I like your approach. What I heard there was you made the list of all the folks by going in and looking for your past sales in your MLS. You uploaded them into the database. In this case, I think you mentioned it was the phone or your CRM. I can't recall which. And then you did the reach out through text. And then you also put in the home anniversary, which is really smart, right? Because that's all about your relationship with them. And then that's probably going to trickle out over time, correct?
Exactly. The automation will automatically send an email to them. I use Follow Up Boss, and there's a space where it has for their closing date. So I've got a pretty generic note in there that, because it doesn't say whether it's a buyer or seller when we have the closing date, so it needs to be pretty neutral. But again, it's just another touch.
That is awesome. That is fantastic. And do you mind letting us know maybe some of the numbers you had, like how many people did you reach out to? How many people responded back?
I could look. I have to tell you, I've got another question about it on this subject, if you don't mind me asking.
Sure, go ahead. We'll take them all and we'll start to work through them. Go ahead.
Okay, so what was interesting for me is that I have a lot of people that are leaving the state because it's a resort area. And so as I went through, I saw that a very large amount of people are no longer here and they're not coming back. I had a few that were estates that I closed for the heirs. So again, no repeat business there. And then there's also a percentage of people that I wouldn't want to work with again. That was kind of bothered me. There were probably 5 or 6 of those that I would rather never hear from again. And I wondered if that was normal.
This is fantastic, Heather. You've given us a lot of little things to talk about. And let's go ahead and address a few of those. And we're going to go back to Emily's question in a minute. So hang in there, Emily. We're still got some more for you. So Heather, let's talk about, first of all, the last thing you said, which is you've got some people that you didn't get along with, it didn't work for whatever reason, the relationship, you just didn't feel good working with them. And that happens to all of us. So that was your first part of your question, which is that natural? And the answer is yes. Even my super sweet high eyes, they'll have a few, when I really press them, they'll say, oh yeah, there are a few people I don't want to deal with again. There's always a couple in there. And who knows why that happens. If you can't work it out, there's no reason to force it when you have a whole nother group of people that you do get along well with. And so when we go through, you may grade, you're going to start grading the people in your system, A through D. And the D's are at the bottom. To us, that's dead. For whatever reason, the relationship should be dead. You should keep them in your database, but label them as a D so that you know they're there and you don't interact with them, you don't send them anything, but you also don't accidentally re-add them. That's why you keep them in your database. But you want to put them aside so you're not afraid to contact your A's, B's, and C's because you're worried about that D sneaking in there. They won't because they're in a separate category. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I mean, I keep them in my phone also, just in case they call.
Yeah, there you go. Exactly. Let's talk about a couple of the other topics that you brought up, which were interesting. You said that you're in a resort area and people are moving away and you don't think they're going to come back. Let me address that a little bit. First of all, you don't know if they're going to come back or not. It's up in the air. You don't know who they know who may be moving in or out of the area or transacting in and out of the area. So I would keep in touch with them, number one. Number two, it's a good point that you should always get a recommendation from people during the transaction or right after, as well as testimonials. So even if people move away, they could still be very valuable to you in the area of getting a testimonial. And so you might reach out to those folks and say, hey, did you have as good of a experience as I did? If they say yes, you say, would you mind if I get that on video or if I get you to put that in writing? And then you can use those testimonials with the rest of your folks in your sphere, your PCSOI, past clients, a sphere of influence, to help promote your business. Remember, you're always trying to show evidence of success to your existing people, to show them you're currently active and you're an expert, as well as new people that come into your world. So there's still a way to capitalize on those folks that have moved away. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, I like that. That can probably be another touch, would be to ask for, send them the links for different reviews if they don't mind. I mean, you know, I use Rate My Agent. I don't know if you've heard of it.
Sure.
and it doesn't allow the older ones to do it, but I could send them Google or Zillow or other things.
Exactly. Yeah. A lot of agents are starting to do a lot with Google and the Google reviews because Google is the search engine, of course, and they're not sure what's going to happen with Zillow half the time. But either way is a great place. And wherever you get the review, make sure that you make a screenshot of it or a copy of it, somehow get it into your world so you can post it onto your website, put it into your marketing. As we move into this shifting market, that's going to become more and more relevant that you prove yourself with these people that are coming in and showing that you're the expert. So I like that. Good job. Good work. I can't remember if we addressed all of your secondary questions there. Was there anything else hanging there?
No, I mean, it's good. I mean, I don't know, we're a small group today, but I do almost 100% of my business as agent to agent business, agent to agent referrals. Cool. And I would love to get more referrals from the people that I have done business with, but I haven't really put in too much energy into it. As a matter of fact, I keep in touch with them, but it isn't a focal point for me, and I'd like to shift on that.
Yeah, no doubt. You said it's a big portion of your business. So it sounds like it's just been happening kind of through osmosis. You've been kind of lucky. What you may decide to do is formalize it by creating a database of those folks, those agents that you're communicating with. I do know top agents who do this. They will create a large database of agents outside their area. And then the way that they stay in front of them is they like to connect with education, right? They like to share ideas and concepts that are working in their market, say, hey, you might want to try this in your market. Or here is a reference to a training I went to I thought was really good. It's a way to stay in front of them and keep top of mind. And of course, in that email or however you're communicating with them, you let them know that you're hey, I'm in your X area. If you have anybody coming this way, please let me know, and I will do the same for you. So that's a good way to do it. The other thing is if you're doing a lot of relocation work, agents, I'm assuming, by the way, these are agents out of the area. If it's a lot of relocation work, you want to find out what are the hubs of what other areas tend to move to your area and vice versa. And those are the connections and bonds you should build the most. I know agents who figure that out and then they actually go into those other markets and do a search to try to figure out who are the top agents in that market and create a relationship with them. That's how they're building those networks in and out. I guess I should have asked, I assume that these were outside the area agents. Are they outside the area agents or local agents?
So it is outside of the area. And a lot of what you do is what I already do. And that I have a strong handle on. What I'm trying to do now is to get more of people who are not agents to refer to me. But the agent to agent business, I love, because as a brand new agent, I've been an agent for 11 years. Picking up the phone, talking to other agents is a pleasure. I love doing that. So I have a very big referral group. It's got 23,000 agents in it.
Wow.
It's very active. About 12,000 are active. And I also set up a drip campaign just for agent to agent communication. But I'm always paying 25% on every deal that I do. And I would love to do more without that fee.
Well, that's an interesting question. You brought up a lot of interesting points. And Emily, I haven't forgot about you. We're coming back, so don't hang in there. But Heather's got this line going that's kind of interesting. I'm sure.
Sorry, Emily. I feel like I pirated your
No, not at all. Here. I took us over there, so let's keep going and kind of finish that thought. So you have this. It sounds like you created maybe a Facebook group, a private Facebook group. You said 23,000.
I'm with Keller Williams. It is only KW. We're almost at 24,000. It's the largest one. It started about 5 years ago.
So this is your broker's group. This is not your group that you're running.
No,
somebody else is running it.
Nope, it's mine. It's the one
yours.
It is mine.
Oh, congratulations. That's fantastic. Because I have heard of people doing that as well. But you built it up to your company, which makes a lot of sense. So that's internal, and you're going agent to agent for referrals, and the Keller Williams is huge. So there's a lot of networking there to do.
Yeah.
You've also got the drip campaign that you're doing. So the bottom line is that you've got this system, it's working well. You mentioned you're trying to figure out how to do it though without a referral fee. Let me ask you a question. Has that happened, and how do you see that going forward? How do you see doing these transactions without paying a 25% referral fee?
Well, no, wouldn't be agent business. I want to do more business with my sphere that are not agents.
I got you.
I never begrudge paying a 25% fee. I've had referrals up to $6.5 million over the last few years. And I love getting agent business, and I love giving it too. So, but now as the market is shifting, that 25% hurts. I mean, I don't know about everyone else's market here, but we went from listing on Thursday, it's gone by Sunday, to I've had some things 10 days on the market and haven't gotten a single showing. So I'm just planning ahead. Emily, unmute yourself so you can talk.
She's hanging in there for us. Let's keep answering this question though. This is a good one. So really what it comes down to is you're looking for ways to open up your repeat and referral from your past clients and sphere of influence, right? So we went on a tangent, which was a lot of fun. And agent to agent referrals is awesome. It's a great business source. And now you're trying to dig in. You also brought up the slowing market. And I apologize. You said it took 10 days to get your first showing, and you're worried that, of course, that's normal market. That's more typical. And I know everybody needs to adjust to this changing market, and it's always changing. But I think it's going to be a healthier market if we step back for a minute, because I was really worried about buyers giving away all their protections. That was scaring the snot out of me. I don't know about you all, but I don't like that, because people are going to end up with properties that don't work for them and kind of be stuck. So I like that the market's slowing down a little bit. I realize it's a mental shift and a change, and it's not as fast of a commission possibly, but it's probably good as long as they don't, drive us off a cliff. And that's up to the Fed. And I know they're working hard on that. And whatever it is, we're going to deal with it and adjust. But I want to hit that kind of issue first. So Heather, thank you for sharing that with us, and also participating and giving some ideas to Emily. Emily, I'm going to switch gears and come back to your question, which is, how do you reconnect? How do you reconnect with someone you've lost touch with? Heather had a great idea there. By the way, let me ask that, Emily. Heather had this great idea for reaching out through some texts and also the home anniversary. And by the way, she started with the list. What do you think about that, Emily?
Well, I wrote down everything she said. So I'm going to try that. For sure. I have every closing that I ever did in the 9 years. I have a hard copy of everything. So, I have all the information I need. I just need to know what to do to really touch base and, see if they'll reach out to me when they need me
Right.
instead of somebody else.
No doubt. And let's dig into this a little bit and chat about it, because as I mentioned before, it's a common challenge, a common problem.
May I add a few things?
Yes, go ahead, Sherry.
Hi there. So most of my business is from my sphere, a repeat business. And I'm very proud of that, because I have worked over that, for the years, to get to this point where I'm not frenetic, running around to everybody, who do you know, looking to buy or sell type thing, and having to, heaven forbid, pay for leads or things like that. But it's something I've worked hard at, but for my clients, it seems organic. It doesn't seem salesy. I'm always there remembering birthdays. When they have little ones, I am there, just stopping by, hey, here's a little present. And I don't do you know how you can buy, Berkshire Hathaway, the cards, whatever, promoting yourself or the agency. I'm promoting myself as a person, because sometimes I think the recipients think, oh, this is just a marketing call, if it's, plastered over whatever agency you're with and so forth. So it's coming from me as a person. And I will tell you that for everybody I've ever done business with, if you were to ask them today, who is your agent? Could have been, 5 years ago, 10 years ago, 15. They're going to say Sherry Benner, because chances are I was probably just talking to them at some point. They were getting something from me, either in person or a call or a text or, happy anniversary or something, at least in the last 3 months. So you work hard at it, but there's no other way around it. And I'm glad to say that each year when I'm doing all my numbers, where did everything come from? I'm at about 88 to like 94% are all people because of my business. That somehow it could have been that it was the daughter of a client or their next door neighbor of a client, but it all came from the client that I've been staying in touch with forever and ever. And so anyway, that's my 2 cents.
Sherry, that's wonderful. Thank you for jumping in and sharing some of your experience and how it's working. Now, a couple of things I heard in there that I'd like to ask about, if it's okay. I heard you say that you're doing this in a way that's not salesy. And I know a lot of folks want to take that kind of approach. I heard that you said you're at least contacting them 4 times a year, quarterly, sometime within the last 3 months, I believe you said. What does it look like, say, over the course of a year, your plan to do the reach outs to talk to people? What are you actually doing? I heard you say birthdays and home anniversaries. What else?
So for starts, the home anniversary, they get something special on their first one. And then after that, it would be like, oh my gosh, can you believe it's been 3 years or 5 years? And then don't make it one-sided. I'm always reaching out with a question going, hey, I would love to see some photos. Did you ever do that sunroom we were talking about? Remembering something specific about the house or what they were going to be doing, to engage them to be, reaching back out to me, because everybody wants to show, hey, look what we're doing. This is great. So home anniversaries for sure, but try to keep it engaging. I do have a monthly newsletter that goes out. And while it does have the recent stats of the local, communities that I'm working with, and things like that, and maybe a couple of what my new listings are, predominantly it's really something fun. And none of it is boilerplate. This actually, I know you can actually buy and all of that, but I have a person, an IT person, we create it new each month. Might be a recipe or a restaurant review of something local in the community, saying, hey, I just went to that new, seafood place. You got to check it out. And now when I do that, by the way, I go in and I'm making a friend of whoever the owner is of that new business, saying, hey, can I have your information? Let me send the newsletter to you. Is it okay if I can tag you? And so now it's going out. And when they love the reviews, they're spreading it out. And oh, by the way, all my information is in there. So anyway, that's more advertising going out for new people. So the monthly newsletters, the home anniversaries, the birthdays, there has been, again, when I do after I've finished a file, I'm making special notes, something special about the house. If they had said, we want to do a new roof, or we're looking for gardens, or something that they want specifically to do, then that gives me a chance to reach out to them, that it doesn't seem so random. They'll be like, hey, I just saw this article on, a nightshade garden. I thought of you. Did you ever put it in here? Here it is. And if you need help, I know some nurseries in the area where you can get these plants. And it could be this, and I just did that one actually recently, and it was 5 years ago was the closing for that. but it was this great article. And I remembered it on my little cheat sheet. Hey, that was something that they wanted. So it gives me a reason to do it. So, and again, sometimes it will be a call if there is a graduation or, heaven forbid, a death in the family, which recently I just had 4 of my clients actually go through. And you better believe that was heartfelt. It wasn't something that was branded Berkshire Hathaway. It was a very genuine. And everything I do is authentic. And I keep saying the word organic as well, but that's where I've gotten my business. For those of you, if you're not in Berkshire Hathaway, I just missed the President's Club, but the Chairman's Gold, but I'm usually President's Club. I'm doing a ton of business, and I'm just myself, and I have just once a week, I have my admin person for just 1 day a week that helps me with, catch up with paperwork and things like that. But otherwise, it is all myself, and having a really good system where I'm not looking at a notebook like, oh, what was that person again? It is electronic for me to keep track. And that's probably the biggest thing I can put out there, is having it be so you're not reinventing the wheel each time. But again, for the folks that I'm reaching out to, they're thinking, wow, I'm that they're feeling special, that I must be doing it just for them and maybe not everybody else. But
No, I will tell you, I do, Sherry, just jumping off what you say, I also do a lot of cards, a lot of small gifts. I am more automated, and I do have an assistant, but I will tag a task for my assistant. One of the areas that I always send cards out is if somebody lost a pet, and also, or if they lost somebody special, because a lot of people run away from death and dying, and they really remember when you reached out over that. The way I started doing that is that I had lost one of my dogs, and honestly, the people that reached out over that, it really solidified the relationship.
So I have a question for both of you. How are you determining that these events are happening in people's lives that are cueing you to reach out to them?
Facebook. Yeah. I mean, they've got everything out there, but, and I'm not on there all the time because obviously we're all busy, but, things pop up in front of me, and they deserve more than a little heart sometimes. Sherry, you sound like a high I. Is that true?
Oh, wicked. You can't get any higher I.
Okay. So I'm not. And so, I had to go to systems, I send it out, but it is not physically me sending it. I do check everything before it goes, but I only bring that up because we have so many different personalities and different levels of business that it can be daunting to think about sending out these handwritten cards all the time without some automation. So to get all the birthdays and anniversaries, I send a drip campaign out that actually has a link that says something like, I love sending surprises. And then it gives them the opportunity to update all their information to me. And then I import that into the CRM. I just mentioned that because, like, Emily, I don't know where you are in terms of you've been an agent for a while, but I don't know if you use the systems, but there are ways to layer the systems in to make it much easier and still come across like Sherry does, where everyone feels like her BFF. With Sherry, it might be authentic. With me, I'm stretching to make that happen.
Right. And you're can you hear me?
Yeah, I can.
Okay, good. So you're both doing it the right way. That's why I'm sitting here right now, is because I'm not. I do have a CRM, and it does send out a newsletter once every 2 months, once every 3 I pick. But I feel like a lot of that goes into spam, because I get a lot of them from people, and it goes into spam.
Emily, that was my question. Thank you for what you were just saying, because that's my question. Are you, when you're saying using the newsletter, and I know all of our agencies have one that we can all be using, it's not anything new, but when people see that come through, is there any part of it that is actually you? I mean,
No, not really. Not really.
Because I get those, and the reason why I don't unsubscribe, because I want to see what everybody else is doing. And I mean, if you're in so Heather, I think you said KW. I was KW years ago, and we would all be using the same newsletter. And if we were all kind of farming the same area, some poor person is getting 10 emails with 10 agents with all the exact same newsletter. Yeah. And my newsletter.
I completely agree. All those people that use, like, there's something called follow-up results, right? They're all the same, and they're boring. It definitely has to have some spark of you. And I love that, Sherry. So, Emily, what CRM are you using?
I'm using something called Exact Contact.
So when I went to Follow Up Boss, my entire business turned around, and I am not getting paid for this, but I'm just going to tell you that when I pulled my stats, the first 5 years I was struggling. When I changed my CRM and I changed the way I was doing business, my business just completely changed.
And what is it? What's the name of it?
Follow Up Boss. But I know the developers. I know the people there. I've been with them since 2016. But it takes some time. You've got to invest yourself in learning the system so that you can take advantage of it. But that's just my other thing. And one other thing that comes to mind, I feel like we're dominating here with the conversation. I would love someone else to talk, but I always tell my buyer's agents that you have to truly believe that you bring something special to your clients when you're approaching them. If you don't really believe that, you're always going to come from a place where you feel like you're begging. But once you have the confidence to know that you are delivering something unique and special to them, you're able to go after it a little bit harder. There's an agent in my market center that is one of my favorite people, and I always joke with my team. I always say, look, if you don't go after this hard, they're going to be stuck with so and so. And it's just I make a joke out of it, but the truth is that you have to believe in yourself, and if you come at it a little bit too tentatively, people sense that and they're not going to have the confidence.
Right. So, Well, I have to tell you, I with almost all of my people, and of course I have a few I would never want to talk to again. Yes. I have a super good rapport with them, but I don't keep up with them. And so I'm not the top person on their minds 6 months down the road. And so that's my biggest problem. I have a great connection with most people that I have worked with. But my problem is letting them go. I just let them go. So that's what I'm working on.
They're not going to remember you, and you can be absolutely wonderful. And a year from now, if they haven't heard from you, I mean, it goes fast, and the statistics. Mike probably has it right off the top of his head, but they'll say, buyers, clients want to use their agent, but then statistically, only a small portion has actually stayed in touch. And so I'm going to give you another tip. I don't know if you do a lot of listings as well, but
I do.
Okay, but for the listings, if it's, say, I was, on both ends, if the other side, if they're buying my listing, and they're the buyers. Once the closing has taken place, they're orphan buyers. They're not with anybody. And guess what? I know where to find them. I might not have their email address, but they just bought my house. So I know that they're going to be at 10 Oak Street. And so guess what? They're on my campaign. They're getting their first home anniversary card, or actually a couple of months, between 1 and 3 months after they've moved in, I'm sending them a follow-up card going, hey, how is everything going? Is there anything that you need in the community that you're still looking for? How may I help? I wasn't their agent, But guess what? Now I have just stepped right in, and then they're getting the anniversary card, and then they're getting other cards. Again, if I can get their email address, then yeah, I've got them. But otherwise, it's, a physical address. I'm mailing it to them. You would be surprised how many times when they're getting ready to sell, guess who they're coming to? Not the person who, once the closing took place, that person was long gone, but I have been talking to them. And again, there's no easy way around it. It is staying in contact. And I do have it scheduled once a week, a block of time that I'm reaching out. My ad person does make it easy for me. She has for each month, she has all of my home anniversary cards already lined up in the email, but then I'm going through and adding a sentence or two that is personal, that I know specifically about those people. And then I'm just, hitting send, but it's already in the email queue. But
I do the orphan buyers also, Sherry. As a matter of fact, anyone who's looking for the information, just put the address into your email and you're going to find the emails. Eventually you'll find the email of the buyer or the seller of the other side. Agency ends at close of escrow. So we are completely legitimate in doing that. For a while, I was leaving a gift in the house. Of from the dollar store, essentially like a big Popeye of all the basics you'd need for 2 days before your moving van got there. But I had some realtors that were bothered by that. So I stopped doing it.
This is great. Great information. Thank you so much for contributing. Sherry, just real fast, when you do reach outs, how are you doing your reach outs? Are you making phone calls, emails, texts? What are you doing? How are you reaching out to the people?
all three. It's just like when you're first having them as a client, you're always asking, how do you want me to approach you? And if they are a text only person or, just email or however it is, or a phone call, sometimes that kind of varies on the age. I tend to do more phone calls on an older population of my clients, say, but it's whatever they kind of set the tone for in our communication is how I'm going to follow up with it going forward. But then in addition, there's plenty of, at Christmas time, I have done this every year, and I buy presents in advance, actually in January when everything is dirt cheap, 9% off type things. I get all kinds of toys for little boys and little girls, and I just have it stockpiled. And then at Christmas for the whole month of December, because things are usually kind of slowing down, but I'm still prospecting by this way, that I make appointments and I go out for a whole week each day, stopping at all these houses. It's all, set up. It's not surprise visits, but to visit with them and drop off something for the kids. And I have one family that they now have, when I first sold to them, there was only one little boy. He was just one. And now they have 4 kids. And it is so funny. Last Christmas, when they took out their advent calendar, he goes, "Oh, that means Miss Sherry's coming." And because they have seen me for the past 10 years, and I do a visit. So that one is my favorite one, because usually by end of the year, I'm exhausted. I'm getting a little upset or stressed out, burnt out, whatever. And you hang out a whole week of all these little toddlers that you have found their parents a house. They were either born in the house or they were just babies and everything. And that picks you right up. But the short answer is it's a lot of it, as you can tell, as my hands are flailing because we talk with our hands. But that's what works for me. But fortunately, I'm also, the other part is a D. And for those folks, if you're not familiar with what we're talking about, the DISC profile of my personality is one that I'm a giver, and I have to always make things better for everybody else. And not to mention creative. and quite gregarious and everything else. But the D is being, I can get to the point. If I'm seeing automatically the person across from me is a D, I'm not going in and saying, here's my wonderful presentation. I'm just like, this is the dollar amount. Let's talk numbers. Here it is. And, cut to the chase type thing. But just reaching out to people.
Thank you, Sherry. Hey, Heather, you mentioned you're not an I. What are you?
I'm a 99D, 99I, and then 30/30. And everyone always challenges me because I'm really into systems and operations, but that's because I don't like my time wasted.
Got it.
So, but I always feel like mine flip-flop, because if you saw me out or you see me speaking, I appear as an I, but when I'm actually working and getting things done, I'm not as softer on the edges, and I can only sustain that I for so long. Like, I love hearing Sherry, because I always joke and I always say, if you're looking for your new BFF as a realtor, I'm not it. But if you want to make sure that you're making a great financial purchase, I am. And I don't keep up. My market's a little different. I have a lot of niches that I work. So physicians, car collectors is another. It's second and third homes. I'm also a part owner in the Cabo St. Lucas Market Center of KW. So I really like that second and third home market. But I also love first-time buyers, especially I've represented a lot of KW children, like the young adults of other agents. So I'm not about price point. I do come from service the way you'd expect a KW agent to. So anyway, how do we get you to change your hat, Mike?
Well, keep trying. That was fantastic. Thank you for sharing. And just on your point, as a D for the DISC, everybody should learn about the DISC because it's nice and easy. When you're a D, you're able to rotate to the side. So you can rotate to your I, you can rotate to your C. So you rotate to your I, as you said, when you're out speaking. You can rotate to your C when you have to get into those the ... into those details on your systems. So that's pretty cool. And what I'd like to do is I'm going back to Emily because she brought us into this whole idea. And Emily, could you tell us, what are you on the DISC?
I have no idea.
Okay.
I was in customer service for 27 years before I became a realtor. And now I've been doing this for 9 years. So really, I'm still in customer service. But I'm the kind of person, and maybe you can tell me where I am, that I can put out 3 fires as 2 more are popping up. I can switch horses in midstream. I'm very flexible, and I can work with almost any personality very well. So what would you say I am?
Let me ask you a couple fast questions. First of all, before I do that, if somebody wants to take the DISC, they can go to, I think it's Tony Robbins, Anthony Robbins. He has a free test you can take online just to find out what you are. You can take a free one, then they try to upsell you to a paid one. You don't have to do the upsell if you don't want to, but you get the idea of what you are. Just because in the industry, we like to talk DISC because everybody understands it if we float back and forth. When you make a decision, Emily, do you like to ask other people for their input on the decision, or do you like to sit by yourself and ponder all the intricacies of the question to get to your answer?
I would normally probably not bounce it off other people. I probably make most decisions on my own.
Sure.
Yes, decisions that affect me. If I'm working, of course, with my clients, I would bounce everything off of them. Yeah.
Do you do your own accounting for your business? Do you like to get into that and run the numbers?
No, I have an accountant.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
And do you like when people give you items in a list, like we're going to do 1, 2, and 3? That's what we're going to do today. 1, 2, and 3. Do you like when you get something in a bullet point like that?
No.
How do you prefer?
No. I'm fly by the seat of my pants most of the time. But, you wake up one morning with this plan in mind, I have plans, but then, you get a phone call or my days change so quickly that I can't do the bullet point thing. I don't do it.
Do you use a chart to organize your day? Do you use a schedule, or do you like just have whatever happens, happens?
Whatever happens, happens.
Okay, so you have a lot
probably
of
not good, right?
You have a lot of I tendencies, but you said you don't like to get decisions from the group, so that's what's kind of throwing me. I think you should take the test and find out where you are. The thing about the DISC to remember is it's just the way that we prefer to communicate with one another. And it's really good to understand your own self. And then most importantly, once you understand that, to understand what the people are that you're talking to. And the really good people with this thing can chameleon and start to communicate in the other person's medium that they prefer. And it sounds like from what you said, you've naturally learned how to do that, because you said you could work with anybody, right? You can adjust and modify and change. And that's more of the ability to move throughout in our case, the DISC. It's just a way to represent what we were doing. But go ahead and do that. Let's go back, because I know we're kind of moving along and we really haven't answered your original question, which is, how do you reestablish these relationships with people that you've helped, you've done a great job for, but you lost touch with, right? That was your original question. And there are ways to do that. I want to ask you first, though, something you said early on. You said, hey, I know these cheesy ways to do it. I know these uncomfortable ways to. I've thought of some ideas, but I don't like them. Tell me what those were.
Well, I made up my own letter in my CRM, and it was really salesy, as Sherry would say. It wasn't organic. And I sent that out to everybody with hardly any response on it. So I tried texting some people, hey, I haven't heard from you. I'm so sorry I haven't connected. That was salesy. So I'm just not successful. I want to start doing some of what Sherry's doing. I don't know if I can do all of that, but some of it, because I'm a busy realtor. I mean, I have bunches of new clients, but I want to go back to my old ones as well. Yeah.
Well,
so you always,
go ahead, Sherry, go ahead.
When you're sending out anything, you always should come from contribution. And then even if it's something that could be scripted, if you're coming from contribution, if you're giving them something, then that eases off from being so markety, salesy. But no matter what, it's always coming from contribution. What are you giving to them that is going to engage them? And again, all those people that you were reaching out to, past clients, if you remember something about their house, and if you found a really great nursery that was having a discount on hosta plants that was perfect for their yard, okay, so you're not physically giving them a present type thing, but you've sent over, hey, here's this link on this great, new nursery that's in your neighborhood. They're doing a coupon this weekend on such and such things, whatever was thinking of you. That might get more traction. And when you're saying that you are so busy with your new clients, that's wonderful, but you're spending maybe, double your time in getting new agents, that if you were just doing a little bit of your time in keeping the ones you've already got, retaining them, to go forward, that would give you even more time to be then doing other things.
So just one question. So again, I've been doing this for around 9 years. And so I have a whole lot of past clients. How far back would I go? Maybe 2 or 3 years, and just leave the ones that are 9 years old alone?
All the way back.
All the way.
All the way back. You want all of them on your list because they all have a relationship with you.
Okay.
Okay, and they've got the best relationship with you because they have an experience of real estate transaction with you. That's why you want to include them.
Okay.
Let me ask a couple questions here. You said 9 years. How many people are we talking about?
You know, I got my calculator. Over 200.
That is fantastic. Wow, congratulations. That's a great group. By the way, that's phenomenal. That's a great list. If you just in your past clients, you can have a really phenomenal business.
I know it is. And it's so ridiculous that I haven't taken advantage of it.
If you did a poor job, you should get about 5% of that list coming to you as a closing once a year, either as a repeat or a referral or new. Well, it's past clients, so repeat or referral. And if you do a decent job, about 10% per year should come to you. And if you do a great job, like some of the top solo agents and then the teams, you're probably looking closer to 20% every single year. So
I do get repeat business. You know, I'm not saying I don't, my clients don't come back to me, but I think that more of them would if I would
if
do
you were
better.
more intentional. Sure.
Yes.
And so let's break that down real quick. Have you written out the actual list of all your past clients? You told me you have them in file boxes. You have the written part. Have you created a database?
I'm working on that. I'm actually putting them in that CRM. That's probably not working that well for me. So I may stop doing that because that CRM does seem to be a waste of time. So
It's okay if you put them in a CRM that you're not happy with, or anywhere you can get them in one place, right? So a spreadsheet or a CRM, because you can download it and move it over to something else you prefer at some future date. The best database is the one that you use, right? The best CRM. So
right.
What I'm hearing is you've started, but you haven't filled it up with the 200 people yet.
I've got probably, I have 100, probably about 100 in there, but I still have a long way to go.
Good. Do you have an assistant, administrative help that could help fill that in? Do you have a family member or a kid or somebody who could help you, kid, grandkids, somebody who's got a little time, you could pay them a couple bucks to help you put all that data in?
Yeah, I have a daughter that could help me.
Perfect. So you've got some, maybe that's something you should do is, throw a couple bucks somewhere and have somebody help you fill that in since you're out there in the field all the time, right?
Right.
Okay.
And I've thought about that actually. That is something that's on my list of things to do, is to talk with her about that.
So you have the list. You've got a partial list going as far as all your people. You have a list of 100. You have another 100 that you can add. Plus, you probably have a sphere of people that you can add. People that haven't been past clients, but that over your life experience, friends, family, other people that you could bring in. So your list probably will end up being maybe closer to 300 once you get that all put together. Again, a phenomenal list. If you run the numbers, you'll be set for life. It'll run itself after a while. You're just looking for that reconnect, that first step, and in the reach out. You tried a couple things and you felt they were too standardized, right? They were a little bit too salesy or too canned, if you will. And that's why Sherry was giving you that great idea of, if you could think of something that happened in the transaction, you could reach out with that information, right? Maybe during the transaction maybe they bought the house because it backed up to open space, or maybe they bought the house because they wanted to be near their grandma, or maybe they bought the house for whatever little thing you can remember. They had a kid on the way. You can reach out and just say, hey, did you ever have the kid? What happened? How old are they now? What are they doing? Right? Are you okay picking up the phone and calling people, or is that uncomfortable?
I'm okay with that. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm good with that.
Back towards that eye where we're doing the disc. And you got to know where you are in the disc, because you know what's easy for you to do as far as your reach outs, for your communication. You'll notice Heather said, oh, Sherry's an I. That's easy for her to reach out that way. I got to reach out a different way. I got to do it through email or text or card, and I can do it that way. And so you can structure your follow-up program in the future around your disc. Another reason to know it, wherever you are on that scale. But if you are comfortable reaching out, that's a great way to break the ice. Remember, what is everybody's favorite word?
Hi.
I don't know.
Their name. Their name is their favorite word.
Oh,
What is their favorite topic?
themselves.
Themselves. Yes. And so what's the way that you control a conversation?
Talk about
About
them.
them.
You ask questions, and then you ask questions about them. But the way you control a conversation, I was just doing it. I was asking questions, and your mind was spinning to come up with an answer, right? And that's what
Yes.
you do in these communications in your reach outs, is you focus your attention on them. You genuinely want to know more about them. And the way you do it is you simply ask them questions. How's life going? How's the house? How's the spouse? How are the kids? Are you taking any vacations? These are the ways to reconnect on a very one-to-one level where it's very close. And if you're able to get on the phone or even knock on doors, I didn't like the phone so much. I like to knock on a door and see somebody face to face. But if you can get on that phone and connect at that one-to-one, that's it. You've done it. You've made the reattachment. And now you can bring in any of this additional marketing that you're just kind of putting things in front of people, an institutional ad. And when you do the institutional ad, you're just trying to keep your face in front of them. That's why you always put your picture on it. You put your face there and something with real estate just to reconnect in their brain. This person is real estate, and I know that Emily is my real estate agent. I forgot Emily was my real estate agent, but you need to put that back in their mind.
Okay. I have two questions for you. Well, a tip and a question. Emily, do you have a business page?
I have one. I mean, if you look me up on a business page, you'd find me, but there's like nobody follow. I haven't worked on it. I don't work on it.
So, number one, you're fixing that because on my personal Facebook page, everybody knows I'm a real estate agent, but I'm not, oh, here's my listings. Oh, I just sold this for gobs of money over asking. Those things are on my business Facebook page, but I'm doing what I call business light, where I just had to mow a lawn at a listing this weekend. It was an 80-year-old lady. Lawn had to be mowed before the photographer was coming. I'm out there in 90-degree heat mowing the lawn, and I had a picture taken of me. That's on my Facebook page going, okay, I've got this new listing, and this is what I'm doing, hottest day of the year, I'm out mowing. It's what you need to do, what you do. I had something funny about it. That's what's on my personal page. So it's not in your face, here's my new listing, but some component or one listing had this stray cat that kept, every time I was there, was on the porch with me. So I had a running commentary that the cat was making a commentary on everybody that was coming, and the cat became famous. I don't know whose cat it was, but little things like that. So that's, and the thing is, you make sure on your personal page that you are friends with everybody you've ever done business with. You reach out, and so they're seeing that. So that's also another way, not in your face, not sending them a newsletter or what have you, but they're seeing what you're doing and they're remembering you that way.
And I haven't been doing that. I have not been doing that. And I'm going to start friending all of my clients. I have a few, but really not that many.
So Sherry said something, and I'm not sure that if it was picked up on. So there's a setting in Facebook that allows your post to be seen by friends of friends. And so what she's doing is, it's called a face plant. And she is allowing her postings to then show up on the feed that goes out to more than her database. I just didn't want that to get lost in the conversation here.
And Heather is correct. So it's just putting it out there, but in a, sorry, I keep saying it, in not a salesy way. But people see the hard work that I'm doing, but in a fun manner. But yes, as soon as I have a client, I am all the information I can gather, and I'm asking them up front. Oh, do you do Facebook? Can I friend you and things? So just like at the closing, or right at the time of the closing, you're asking them, hey, will you do a realtor review for me, or a Google My Business review, or a Zillow review? You're asking permission and doing it right while it's hot in their mind, for all of this. But get all that information, so that way you can easily be staying also in touch with them. And if you want to kind of get back in and you were looking for a way, again, coming from contribution, make up either, you can buy a card, like a home sweet home. Oh, you can't see it. The home sweet home card, or make up one or something, but go through, because no matter what, I have my database. I can pull up, we're in June. I can pull up for the month of June, every closing I have ever had, both sides, for the month of June. And so, for June, I have like 32 home anniversary cards that had gone out. So that would be perfect for you to start. You've 9 years worth, and you should always have those dates and kind of group them in the month, and the orphan buyers as well, and just send out an anniversary card going, oh my gosh, it's been 5 years. Well, that doesn't sound so bad if you were just doing a regular letter. Oh, wow, I haven't talked to you in 5 years. I'm bad. But instead, you're sending them, hey, hard to believe it's been 5 years, and, happy home anniversary, your 5th anniversary. So it sounds a little better.
Yeah, it does. You're right. Thank you. Thank you all, actually.
Hey, I just want to say goodbye to you guys because I have to run.
Thank you.
I wrote you a note, and if anyone wants to connect with me, reach out on Facebook, text me, because I do so much agent, tell me where you are, and let's keep in touch. And Mike, I hope I make another one of your calls.
This was fantastic, Heather. I appreciate you joining us. Thank you so much.
Yeah, I sent you a message. I do want to talk to you, so we'll talk another time.
That sounds great.
All right. Thank you, everybody.
Emily, one other idea here real quick is that years ago, I asked the top agent, how do you do a reconnect when you lose touch with people? And they basically gave me a script. If you like scripts, if you'll go to just Google and type in mastermindagent.com, reconnection script, because I don't know what the link is, but if you just go type that in, I know you'll get there, it'll pop up. So again, mastermindagent.com, reconnection script, and it'll pop up, and there's a script there that you can take a look at, see if you like it, or modify it and change it. But I think the information you got here today is even better if you don't mind doing the one-on-one and work your way through the list. I'll give you one more add-on, Sherry's, and that is what a great idea to get these folks in your database with the close date. And that is a perfect way to reintroduce yourself. Now, you can't do it all in one blast, but just month by month, you're just reconnecting, saying, hey, you know what? We closed 3 years ago or 4 years ago. How's that house feeling? What wasn't the gutter falling off on the side? Did you ever get that fixed? I don't know, whatever the thing is you can remember about that house or about their situation. It's such a great connection point, right? And it's how they'll remember you. To wrap this all up for what Sherry's asked me to share earlier, NAR did a study, National Association of Realtors did a study a while back on this topic, excuse me. And they basically went out and interviewed people who had had a closing about a year ago. And they said, hey, first question, did you have a good experience? Most of them said yes. Second question, would you hire your real estate agent again? Was it that good of an experience? 84% said yes, they'd hire the agent again. So we're doing a really good job when we're with the people, right? And you've mentioned that you do a good job. Most agents are. They're very focused, they're attentive, they're doing a great job. 84% said, yes, I'd rehire that agent again. And then the next question was, great, what's the name of your agent? Only 11% could give the name of the agent. 11%. And it was only 1 year later. It was only 1 year later they couldn't remember the name of the agent. And so the question is, whose fault was it that they couldn't remember the name? It was the agent's fault for not staying in touch. And you know that. I know you know that, but I want to share that with everybody else. Okay. So make sure that you reconnect. I know you're going to do this. Make that list. Keep filling the list out. But whatever you have already, the 100, go ahead and reach out to them right now. Don't wait. Go ahead and get started today after this call. Make just one. Make just one reach out and just try one of these things you've heard today.
Okay.
Does that sound fair?
It sounds fair. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Thank you for being here. And thank you, everybody else, for being here. Thank you, Emily, for participating, and Sherry for participating, and Heather, who just left us, but for participating. Everybody else for listening and writing in your thoughts. I saw some items over there in chat. Thanks for being here. We're trying to do these once a week. We've been pretty consistent about it. If you would like to come back next week and join us again, please do. And as you're moving through your week, as you see anything that pops up that you have questions about on how I could get more repeat and referral, please jot those down and bring them over here to the mastermind. As you saw, we have these amazing people that are willing to contribute and share. And by the way, it's been like different people every single week who are coming in and helping. It's really quite incredible. We have an amazing group of folks. So please bring those issues here, and you're going to get a lot of different ideas and concepts for that might be able to bust it loose and help you move forward. Again, thank you for joining us. I hope we recorded this. If we did, it'll be up in the mastermind on Facebook, and also we'll try to put it out there on YouTube if you're looking for it. And the YouTube, everybody asks, it's Mastermind Agent Network. Mastermind Agent Network is the channel name if you're looking for any of those past episodes, or in the Facebook group itself. We try to get them up as well, the Referral Mastermind Call. Again, thank you, everybody, for joining us, and take care.